Sir, please. Yeah. No, that's over. Congress party, so many people have spoken. Congress party, 7 or 8. That's enough. Please,
So
please, you please start.
I'm really happy that all of you have read the act and have gone into detail in it. I'm going to endeavor to answer a few of these questions which have come again and again. Ghulam Nabi Azad ji has talked about the need for separate detention space for juveniles. The state government is already mandated to set up such places under Section 49. And as far as education and reform, you were very worried about education and reform in places of detention. This is provided for under Section 19(3), in which education and reform is mandatory. Even if they go into Boston, which, as I told you before, doesn't exist now, but when this act is finished, they will come into being. Education and reform is mandated. You've also talked about patrolling, and that was a very good point, that if we had perhaps more patrolling, things that happen in dark alleyways won't happen. I don't know about dark alleyways so much, but what we have started is a new system called the Mahila Special Police Officer, and that will come into being in January. Every village is getting a special police officer who's above the age of 21. She will be trained. Her job is to be a facilitator and to inform on whether children are being beaten, whether wives are being beaten by husbands, whether there are crimes taking place which people don't report or haven't noticed. So we hope that this will act as another deterrent. Mr. Ravi Prakash Verma has said that he's talked about the bill, the condition of the JJ boards, and that there are not many of them. Their JJ boards have been made in all districts now, all preparatory to this bill. And the bill provides a full chapter on the issue of gangsters using children in the Offences Against Children Act. These JJ boards will be trained again and again, and they will be refined again and again. Many of you have expressed the same apprehension that I had. What is a JJ board? If it has people in it just selected from political bodies, or what we call, I'm sorry to use the word era-garas, then people who need to be adjusted, then no, it won't work. But that is why we are already putting them in place, we are already training them, and I will elaborate on this again. This is, Mrs. Anu Aga has asked about how to improve the condition of juvenile homes. This is the first time in, literally decades that there's going to be an inspection and social audit of juvenile homes. It's already started. There was not even a thing that you tick mark the boxes. So we had that made from senior lawyers, women lawyers, on what to look for in a juvenile home. So that has already been done. Mrs. Aga also said that we are, and it was also said by another person, that we have flouted the United Nations being a signatory on the rights of the child. Under that act, or under that treaty, every single nation has the ability to provide for what they see as a Lakshman Rekha for their children. America has gone down, several of its states have gone down to 9. France is 12. Many states are 14, 16. The point is each country has to decide for itself. And if this August House decides, we could put 16. Again, the same issue of children's homes has been raised by Mrs. Kehkashan Praveen. Kehkashan, it's a lovely name. It's the same, again, the condition of children's homes. I'm going to come to this at the end when I give you the statistics of the money that we have put into this. And what we've done is, we have earlier checking children's homes was the responsibility of only the states. What we have done is we've started partnering with the best NGOs in the country in children's welfare. And we are sending them as partners to each children's home to see what can be done to make them better. This is the first time that this is happening. Give me a year and you won't have this complaint again. And that, I mean, whether the bill goes through or not, this will be done anyway. The one that was passed about 5 years and 7 years, the Leader of the House has already explained that the IPC will override that. Mr. Mishra has brought up several points. And he said that I said that lawyers were not included, they would be included. They've been included as legal experts. They're not lawyers for children. They're not lawyers for anybody. When and if they go into the adult judicial system, they will be entitled to lawyers for themselves. But these are lawyers that we've put in on the JJ Act if they exist. Then the assessment you've talked about, rape. I want to say this. I don't know whether this is the right forum to discuss it, but since you have thought about it deeply, when you said that there can be, I can't sum it up, there's a huge, okay. When I was making this act, I felt that how do you consider rape as a childish act? How can you even nuance it? It should go straight in, and the person should, and all these lawyers and all the police people said, hang him, do something horrible. And then, so to clarify it in my mind, I went to 2 Supreme Court judges who are known for their activism for children. And I said to them, can you explain to me what I can do in this matter, whether it should be here or whether we should isolate it and just say, in this case, there's no question of even going before the board. You go straight into an adult system. And they said that in this particular case, this child, if he had come before them, might have got scot-free were there to be a child-like attitude, because there were 3 adults. And they brought this child and said, karo, karo, or karo, or karo. So he was doing it to impress them, which again is a childish thing to do. This is what they explained to me. So when I heard this from them, and they gave a lot of data with it, it was only after I put this up for argument to many lawyers and many boards that we decided to leave this in the nuancing. I hope that answers your question. Okay, then. Okay. I'm sorry about that. I hope. Well, let's see when the next case comes up and see how we deal with it. I hope no case comes up. Now, anyway, Mr. Banerjee, Article 14 of the Constitution prohibits class.
Now, please listen. Proceed.
Article 14 of the Constitution prohibits class legislation, not reasonable classification, for the purpose of legislation. All children in the age of 16 to 18 years are treated equally, and no 2 children in the age group of 16 to 18 years who commit a heinous offense are proposed to be treated differently in the bill. Ms. Chavan, yeah. She has said, as I've said before, the studies do not indicate that 16 years, that's what the honorable member said, is mature enough to commit heinous crimes. Many other members have taken a contrary view. I would like to state that we come then to the eternal question that cannot be answered by us and has not been able to be answered by any scientist, which is nature versus nurture. Is a child because he is 16 and because the cells haven't matured? Or is he a child because he has been nurtured like that? Which one is it going to be? If we are simply going to say every child is a child because scientists say that the brain is not mature, then you're not taking nurture into account. And so we need to decide which side you're going to plump on. It's a mixture of nature and nurture. You may have been brought up very well, and your brain is not mature enough, so you commit something. Who knows? But this has to be a mix and match. She has also said that we have spent much less money. Please let me tell you what I have spent. The financial norms under this scheme were enhanced from April 1, 2014. Some of the key features of the revised scheme for all JJ boards and homes: increased child maintenance grant from 750 rupees to 2,000 per child per month. Increased financial norms for construction and maintenance of a new home for 50 children from 77 lakhs to 1.9 crores. Increased financial support for a special unit of 10 children for children with special needs from 4.2 lakhs to 10.4 lakhs. Flexibility in staffing patterns, enhanced cost of construction from 600 rupees per square foot to 1,000 rupees per square foot, or as per PWD norms, whichever. This is the money we've actually spent. And we've spent more this year than we ever have. So it's not correct that it's gone down from 200 crores to 65. I would never even allow that to happen. Our money was, when the Finance Commission took 10% and sent it to the states, this ministry and the Finance Ministry worked out a way in which every single paisa was returned to us. So there's been absolutely no problem and no cut. One of the things that I would like to say, I'm not going to dwell on it a lot, is that everybody has gone on, not everybody, a lot of people have gone on saying poverty has to be addressed first. We obviously can't address poverty. But is poverty the only reason why some children turn criminal? And if so, then how is it a minuscule percentage turn criminal? Everybody else is equally poor. The victims are poor. Poverty, if poverty were the only reason for children to become criminal, how is it that Sweden, which had not a single poor person, has got the largest number of rape cases in the world, percentage-wise and aggregate-wise? Can we explain that? Nature versus nurture, what can it be? So let us not just look at poverty as a reason. There is poverty, we're all trying in our own ways to diminish it. Mr. Rajiv Chandrasekhar has asked for the qualifications of JJB members, Juvenile Justice Board members. These were earlier given in the rules. They've now been included in the Act. Section 4(2) states that the principal magistrate should have at least 3 years' experience in this field. Section 4(3) gives the qualifications of social worker with active involvement in health, education, welfare activities, all that you know. I don't want to push that. Heinous crimes, he said, has to be spelled out. Heinous crimes has been spelled out. It is every crime that is listed by the IPC as 7 years or more. Naresh, can you give me that piece of paper I gave you about heinous crimes? I just want to tell you what it is. No, I'll just explain to you. No, I'll explain to you what they are. They are murder, rape, acid attack, kidnapping for ransom, dacoity with murder. That's it.
Very good. Very good.
Kani Moziji had given a very emotive thing about a child. And that story that you have read out to me is very typical. And it's that kind of child which will never go into the adult system, because every part of that child, it cries out for justice. But under the nuance system, that child would never ever go into an adult system. So you don't have to worry about once this act comes in. I don't think anybody would be irrational enough to send him into her into an adult system. And the JJ boards are being trained at every point and can take external, they've been given the leave to take external assistance from other experts not on the board if they feel that they are at an impasse. Now, there seems to be confusion again that the homes are in a bad way. But the homes are in a bad way is not an argument not to pass this bill. The home is in a bad way. But many of you have asked for more children to be sent to them for longer times. That doesn't make much sense to me. If they're in a bad way, we are working for the first time to put them right. And each one of us, perhaps I could just give this suggestion, each one of us in Parliament could show more interest in the children's homes, detention centers, and jails in our constituencies. If we do repeated visits, we might be able to improve them. As I said before, we've started a new checking system which uses reputed social welfare NGOs for checking, as they will look much deeper than anybody has before. Mr. Keshav Rao has talked about that he's never seen a juvenile police. The juvenile police exist. They exist by law, and it's a designated police officer in every police station today who is designated as a child police officer, a state police officer. So they do exist. We don't need to create a special juvenile police officer. Let me see, there's so many now. There are victim rehabilitation, you've talked about. There are existing schemes implemented by the states. I'm going to come to those. I've got it here now. There are existing schemes implemented by the states in which all children who are victims and women, there are lots of schemes for. And we are increasing that helping victims through starting one-stop centers. 10 of them have been built, and hopefully, in the next few years, we will reach 660. So the 10 that have been built have been working very well. So there will be many more like that. There are also victim compensation schemes that have been set up. Then, Ms. Rajni Patil also talked about removing the or. The provision states that members should have either 7 years experience or should have a degree, or. We've kept or only to increase the list. There will be lots of remote areas where you can't find a registered psychologist. You can't find somebody that you need with a degree. In which case, there is an or provision in which you can have an expert lawyer or something. It's until we can get these provisions up to scratch. This is to come back for the schemes. The Nirbhaya Trust has approved on victim compensation schemes of 200 crores, a special investigation units of 250 crores, one-stop centers in all the states, women's helplines in all the states, and a national investigation agency to deal with trafficking. I'm not going to go into malnutrition and things because they don't really work here. We've started. Somebody has raised the point about that there was a rape law, and has it made any difference to rape? Yes, it has. What it has done is many women who would keep quiet and suffer in silence have come forward and complained and had cases registered. And therefore, it seems to all of us that the anti-rape laws had no effect. But it has had effect only in the registration of cases. Again, Naresh Gujralji, who runs an orphanage, has talked about the orphanage rules and has expressed a fear that it will be very difficult to run an orphanage if all the caretakers are going to be pulled up. It's not that a child care institution will be liable for a fine and imprisonment of technical violations. Section 82 refers to only those situations where a worker of a children's home inflicts a corporal punishment on a child. The head of the institution becomes liable only if he refuses to cooperate in the investigation about a complaint of corporal punishment. Now, you will all agree that corporal punishment should not be allowed in children's homes because they're completely defenseless. They don't have parents who will argue for them. They don't have any relatives who will come forward, even if their heads are cracked open. So therefore, corporal punishment is a no-no. Renukaji, who is my distinguished predecessor, the JJ bill is gender neutral. It applies just as much to boys who've been victimized as girls. And when there's a crime, the adult will be tried separately and the juvenile will be tried separately because the juvenile first goes before the JJ and may never hit the adult system. Okay, I'm going to say just two things more about statistics. We are talking about, Mrs. Aga and all say that only 2,000 people have broken the law, so why have this act? In Delhi alone in 2015, more than 1,000 children between the ages of 16 onwards, juveniles, have been arrested for crimes in Delhi. I want to tell you what crimes they were arrested for so that you can let me know where they should go. On 1st December 2015, police arrested a juvenile on charges of rape and murder of a 25-year-old woman. Both had sex with the corpse after they killed her and dumped her in the forest area. What should we do with this child? Is it a childlike mind? On 27 November 2015, a 16-year-old girl was molested and pushed to her death from the 3rd floor by her younger landlord's son, a juvenile at the Ghadi Chonkadi village in Noida. What should we do with him? On 24th November 2015, a 13-year-old girl was 7 months pregnant after being raped by her elder 16-year-old brother. He has been apprehended and sent to a juvenile home. 17th November 2015, a 4-year-old girl was raped by a 16-year-old in Andhi area in Jaipur. He was a 13-year-old. The girl was playing at her house when her neighbor took her to the roof and raped her. What should we do with him? A 17-year-old boy. I'm just asking you, we have all these terrible crimes. To say that they are there because somebody is not educated is also... That's right. That's right. That's why I'm pointing them out. We have a long list. Now, what I'm saying is that... 1 minute. Well, that's why we need the bill. We need the bill to make sure that there is some deterrent. Now, many of them are educated. Many of them are educated. Of these, I have a list here. The children apprehended for crimes between 2013 and 2014, 10,530 were illiterate, 15,000 had primary education, 17,000 had above primary but under secondary, 5,000 were higher secondary, 38,000 were living with parents, 7,000 were living with guardians, only 1,600 were homeless. So these are the classification of juveniles apprehended under the IPC during all.
Appeal to what? Maneka ji.
Hanji.
Appeal to them and say support the bill. But even one is...
Is even one acceptable, sir? Is even one acceptable?
I'll tell you what the point is. The point is not whether they're 1% or 2% or 5%. In a country of 1.3 billion, how many is 1%? Tell me, how many is 1%? Even that runs into millions, right? Hang on. Why? The point is... No, wait a minute. I don't want to... listen to me.
Just pass it.
Get the chair and...
Okay, all right.
Okay, let the minister continue, please. Please continue. You please continue.
I simply am saying this. I'm saying, listen.
Let her finish it. I will allow you after you are finished.
All right. I stand corrected. 1.2%. But even your crime across the board runs into lakhs. Now the point is that this, not according to us, but according to the police, this is the highest rising segment of crime between 16 and 18. Should we not protect the victims as well, as I said this morning? I don't want to talk anymore. It's up to you, your sensibilities. Remember, India is watching us. And you decide whether we want to bring in a nuanced bill which provides for children, which protects them and nurtures them and keeps them safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. No, please.
Minister has not replied to one of my
No,
most
no.
important queries
Now,
I made. I had
Mesraj
asked the Honourable Minister, with respect to section 15, that you have provided therein that there be a preliminary assessment whether whether he knew the consequence, what was his physical position, what was his medical position, and then you will take a decision under section 18 that whether he should be treated as 16 years as a child or 18 years, then there will be an appeal. And before the appeal, the board, the persons who will decide about his mental and physical health will be several experts who will sit and decide. After that, he'll get a right to appeal under section 101, subclause 2. Again, there'll be similar other persons who will be different from the first one. And then you will take a final decision whether he has to be treated as 16 or 18. Which will take years together, and the result would be that there will be no evidence. So what is your answer to this?
Okay, no. Would you like to answer or otherwise I'll
I had
proceed?
asked, this I had asked in the beginning also.
The process has been designed in a way so that, as many of you have said here, better to have one criminal let off than get an innocent person into a system.
Okay.
So that is the reason why he is going to be.
Okay, I shall now put the motion moved by Srimati Maneka Sanjay. Yeah, please. No.
Sir, I would request
I will give you time. I will give you time.
So
I would request the House.
No.
Sir, I would request the House to pass the bill.
Yeah.
I would request the House to
Yeah.
pass the bill.
No.
I would like to have.
Yeah, please.
Take up the matter for passing, voting, etc.
Yeah.
I just got one appeals.
Please.
Sir, the lawmaking is not on the basis of sentiments. Lawmaking has to be on the basis of understanding all the implications, because what we are making law today is going to stand for at least some time. So please don't talk of sentiments. All of us have been party to that protest when that horrendous incident took place in Delhi. We all wanted new law. All of us here together unanimously passed the new law. And after that, the Justice Verma Commission that we appointed late, Justice Verma, he gave the report where he was against the provision of this bill, saying that you reduce the age of the juvenile.
But let the House consider it.
Sir, please, bear with me for a minute. Bear with me for a minute. I'm only saying this, sir. You now reduce it from 18 to 16. Tomorrow, if some 15-year-old, 11-month-old commits a horrendous crime like this, then what? Will you come back here to again change? Secondly, their own departments tell you, media reports tell you
Let the House
that
decide.
most of the recruitment, please sir, most of the recruitment into the ISIS is taking place at the age group of 14 and 15. Terrorism is not a heinous crime, sir. Now, if that is 14, what are we doing? Are we going from 18 to 16, 16 to 14, and then go down and
Let the
down?
House decide.
So my point is,
Let the House decide.
Sir, please listen to my appeal. Let the House decide. Now, unfortunately, the whatever you call him, the person who's the culprit who's committed that horrendous crime against Jyoti you cannot punish him now because this law cannot be retrospectively effective. No criminal law that you make can be retrospective. You cannot punish him. That sentiment of wanting him to be punished, all of us want.
But similar things should not be repeated. That is what saying.
It's a similar thing. You are very right. If it is repeated, what is the provision? Now the question is, you are coming down from 18 to 16. As I pointed out to you, tomorrow it may be 14, then come down to 12. My point is, sir, these are matters. I'm not repeating all the arguments.
Yeah.
These are matters that merit a certain consideration. Therefore, my appeal to this House, we are lawmakers. Let us make law with the responsibility. My appeal to this House is refer it to a select committee and let that come out. Because, sir, because now you cannot punish that culprit, that boy. That is over. Unfortunately, that is over. Now for the future, the question you had asked, sir. Sir, you had asked from the chair the question. In the future, are we going to prevent it? Yes, we must prevent it. So what we are saying is there are so many other ramifications. Please, in the wisdom of the House, I'm appealing. As lawmakers, do it responsibly.
Mr. Yechuri,
not on sentiments. Not on sentiments,
information,
but
I tell
on the
you,
responsibility of what we
Yechuri
owe to
ji,
our future.
for your
so therefore, my
Now,
appeal,
I got your
my
point.
appeal
Yes.
is to
But let me
this go to
clarify.
a select committee.
Let me clarify. See,
Sir, my appeal is that they should go to a select committee and then do it.
No, no,
we
anyhow-
are not opposing this.
No, yeah,
but we say you consider all the
for
ramifications.
your information, I am saying, see, there were 2 notices for sending it to select committee. Those were not moved. So before me, there is no motion for sending to select committee. So I have to put it to vote. That is all what I can do. That is all what I can do.
Sir, if the sense of the House, sir, if the sense of the House,
select committee के लिए कोई
if the
motion
sense of
नहीं
the
है।
House, if the sense of the House is taken,
there is no motion
the
for
chair,
select committee.
the ruling party,
There should be motion.
सर select
no,
committee के लिए
chair,
कोई
the
motion
ruling
नहीं
party,
है।
you can all move for
Is it
the
put
for
for
the
vote?
select committee.
Point of order, okay?
My point of order, sir, but before that, I'm coming to my point of order.
No,
first,
tell
and
under
then you
what-
allow me 1 minute because
No,
you're allowed.
my job
sir,
is to-
we've had a very good debate. So to assume that we have all spoken on sentiment is completely incorrect. We have spoken factually as well. We have spoken factually and sentiment. So don't make a
Yeah.
sweeping statement. If this House wants to send to a select committee, let every party stand up and say whether they want to send it to a select committee. I'm not coming there. My party is very clear. We want this bill to be passed. 1 minute. 1 minute. What is the sense of the House? Now let's come to
No,
71.
no, see,
71.
I tell you, there is no
71.
rule for me to take the sense of the
71.
House now.
You
Now
come
I
to
can only
71.
put it to motion, otherwise, no,
Then do it.
no, Mr.
No, take the
Wherever
sense.
you
Let
listen-
every political
you-
party,
you-
we are
you-
okay, we are
you-
open.
no,
Let
please.
every political party stand up and say.
Derek ji, please listen to me. See, for me, before me, there is only one way. Since there is no motion to send it select committee before me, I have to put it to vote, unless there is a motion.
Mr. Yechuri doesn't want us to be swept away by emotion,
Eh?
but he himself is
No
putting
motion
forth
before
his
me.
views on emotion.
He has not moved. No,
He
he has not moved.
He did not
Derek
move.
has not moved.
Nobody has
Derek
moved.
has not moved.
He did not move. Shandaram Naik did not move. But
You are
it
not
was
here.
It was no. Yeruchuri ji, I called the names. I called Shandaram Naik. I called, I believe it is Mr. Subram. I don't. Derek O'Brien. Yes. Sorry. Both did not move. There is no motion. What can I do? Yeah, that's what I am going to do. Sit down. Yeah. You sit down. No, you sit down. Sit down. No, sit down. No, I don't want every party to stand up and say, I want to put it to vote. Sit down.
Put it to vote.
Derek, I will run the house. So I have to put it to a vote. Yeah, that. Okay.
Test.
Yeah.
And we think
I
it's a
have no
wrong
way. I
thing.
have to put it to a vote.
Put it to the select committee. My appeal, if you don't accept it, I'm not opposing the bill. But if you're not accepting the select committee thing, we are walking out.
Okay.
It should be